Well, we're here at DevOpsDays Raleigh. This is Justin. Please introduce yourself to the All Things Open community.
Hey, yeah, so I'm Justin Reock. For those who haven't met before, I'm currently the head of DevRel for Cortex, which is an internal developer portal company. Previous to that, I was the field CTO for Gradle, and then before that, I was field CTO at OpenLogic. My background is primarily in software development and writing code, but lately I focus a lot more on developer productivity and developer experience.
Awesome, great. Well, you've got a talk here at DevOpsDays Raleigh. Can you share a few key takeaways that you're going to share with the audience?
Yeah, so it's an Ignite talk, which is actually somehow the first time that I've done this format. I'm really excited about that, actually. It should be a bit of a challenge. This is actually the third iteration of a talk that was originally called DevOps 12-Factor and Open Source. And it was a full sort of hour-long keynote that actually, I took some liberties. I went all the way back to like 600 BC in ancient Cretonne and talked about Pythagoras and geometry and how that was sort of like the infrastructure code of the time, but how it was also very secretive. And but this is the 5-minute reduced version of this. So this is a quick trip through what I believe are the real origins of DevOps, which I think come before 2009 in Ghent, Belgium, and Patrice Dubois. I think that this mindset was really born and annealed out of practices like lean manufacturing and work like Ellie Goldratt's work on the theory of constraints. Right. So the talk really is trying to tie what happened then and those philosophies to where we've evolved now. In terms of platform engineering and multi-cloud deployments and portals.
Got it. So for those not familiar with Ignite, it's a 5-minute talk where you have 20 slides and they automatically advance every 15 seconds. How did you prepare for that?
Probably not well enough. I obsessively over-prepare for these types of things. So what I did originally was create a 5-minute version of the talk. That was the hard part, because it was like, again, originally an hour-long keynote. So I'm like, all right, what are the real highlights? What do I really want people to take away from this? Then I condensed. I didn't worry about the slide numbers first. I just made sure, can I get the actual talk track down to 5 minutes? And once I was comfortable with that, recorded it a few times, made sure I could do it. Yep. Then I went back and was like, all right, what are the 20 essential slides? Do I have to combine a couple of images here? Yeah. So that's what that process kind of looked like. I feel pretty comfortable. DevOps Days is such a friendly venue. Part of the reason that I like doing the talks here, there's just not a lot of judgment. You know, we're all here to learn. We haven't blueprinted this industry yet. It's not quite commoditized, so we're all here and kind of in this together.
I agree, yeah. So, I also just mentioned that I think Ignite is one of the hardest talks to give, and so definitely practice is worthwhile.
Yes.
Well, let's jump into the broader scheme of things. What's something that's happening in DevOps today? It's a topic, a trend, a debate that people should be aware of that you're kind of following or paying attention to.
Have you heard of generative AI? No, I'm just kidding.
You're the first person we've talked to that said that.
I refuse to make that my answer. In fact, on my own podcast, you're not allowed to use that. So what I think is the important trend that's happening right now, and of course I am biased, but I think if you look at the essence of what's happened with DevOps and productivity theory, looking at value stream management, I think that what we've realized is that as we start to and continue to remove bottlenecks and friction from the value stream, we've found now that the primary bottlenecks are actually right in the prefrontal cortex of developers, right? And so the most important thing that we can do in terms of evolving DevOps at this point is focusing on improved productivity, yes, but very intentionally via improved developer experience and giving our developers more opportunities to thrive and have less sort of toil in the daily work that they do. So what I really like is that, and in my talk, I'll talk about how we've been studying productivity in software design since the 80s, but we're finally starting to do something about that. Like we're finally starting to stop speculating about whether a better developer experience yields better productivity results and actually starting to make investments in that. And so I think platform engineering is the ultimate symptom of that, right? Because now we've said, all right, we've taken something that was originally for ops and improving all these problems that we had with deployment. I mean, I come from the time where you march a USB stick down to another office and they do the QA, so we fixed those problems. But now these primary bottlenecks are again back right in the developer experience. So I'm very pleased. Like you can strike sparks with this anywhere right now. Everybody wants to talk about productivity. And you have all this interesting shakeup happening. Spotify just announced Spotify Portal. We don't know what that's going to be. They obviously are the curators of the Backstage Portal, incredibly popular. We don't know if this is going to be some curated Backstage. We don't know if it's going to be something completely different, right? So it's a really interesting space to be watching right now, specifically internal developer portals meant to orchestrate and visualize platforms.
Right. Well, thanks for that perspective. Yeah.
Hey, this is Todd with All Things Open. Thank you so much for watching. We truly appreciate it. Also, be sure to subscribe to the channel and hit the notification button. We've got a lot of new content coming we think you're going to be interested in. One final favor, be sure to go to allthingsopen.org, allthingsopen.org to see everything that we do. Back to the video.
Last question for you. What's one tip or piece of advice that you'd like to share with the All Things Open community?
Pay attention to the ancient business wisdom of the 1970s and 1980s. And I'll even say this in the talk, everybody loves the Phoenix Project. We talk about the Phoenix Project all day. I've only talked to a handful of people who actually know that book is a recreation of the goal. That the goal was written in the 1980s from the perspective of a VP of manufacturing who is having trouble keep pace with competition. It's just rebranded for a software company, right? But the principles are the same. If you really want to understand DevOps, if you really want to understand SRE, if you really want to understand improving your value stream, go back to the original architects. Go back to lean manufacturing, go back to the theory of constraints, look at what Toyota did in the 60s and 70s. All of this philosophy has just annealed into the work that we're doing now in DevOps. So don't ignore that stuff. That is the fundamental and foundational root of the work that we're doing now.
Right, and you don't want to be the lone sysadmin wolf, right?
No, definitely not.
You're never going to get a vacation.
Don't want to be a Brent.
Cool. Where can the ATO community find you on the socials?
I'm very easy to find. I do most of my work these days on LinkedIn because of the shakeup that's happened within the X-Twitter community, but we'll see what happens there. But I am pretty easy to find. I've been doing the developer productivity thing for about 4 years now. I've created quite a bit of content there. And then, of course, you can find my current work at cortex.io. I've just launched their DevRel as of December, so we should have some very exciting community programs coming out of that that I'll be working on.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Well, thanks for your time today, Justin.
Thank you so much.
Appreciate it. Yeah,
Wonderful.
Man. Awesome.